What's going on, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists? And this is an episode of Q&S. It's been about 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember since I did the last one. 3 weeks, I think. This is where I ask the questions and you give me your answers, because I'm interested in what you've got to say about certain topics. And last episode, I was asking you what's your favourite period in wargaming to play, you know, historical, whatever, you know. So that was my question. What's your favourite period in history to play? What game and period? So I've got 5 answers there. So thank you very much for that. Let's just have a quick look through them. Right, JamJar34 says Black Powder, Napoleonic, and thinking about Zulu, but mainly Napoleonic at the moment. Now, I thought about Zulu as well, and I like the look of that, and Zulu is actually one of my favourite war films. You know, the classic one with Michael Caine and all that kind of stuff. I know you'd need quite a bit of, I don't know what scale you do it in. I know Warlord do 28mm figures, I think, for Zulu. I don't know how hard it is to track down Zulu figures. You can get the British Army quite easy, I would think. I was just thinking about what scale as well. What would look better? I mean, in all honesty, it might look better. See, the trouble is, with the masses of Zulus, it would probably look cool in 6mm, right? But then, when you come to the British side, there's not that many of them, so that wouldn't look so good. So I think you're going to get a happy medium, probably 15mm. And look at that then. But so you're a Napoleonics man, eh? Cool. Ralph Astley says, I find it really difficult to choose a favourite period. Over the years I have dabbled in so many, and my passion for a particular period definitely waxes and wanes. There are certain periods that I'm interested in that I don't wargame because I can't find a range of figures or a suitable set of rules. I would probably say that the Black Powder set of rules covers so many of my periods of interests that the Black Powder era is my favourite. But I much prefer to use 28mm figures, and this makes gaming Black Powder very hard, as you then require a massive table. 15 to 18mm figures are better for Black Powder if you are restricted to a 6x4 foot table. I would say that Saga is my favourite set of rules, as the games are far more manageable in 28mm and the Saga community is very friendly. The tournaments I have participated in have always been very sociable, non-competitive events. So, favourite period, Black Powder, favourite rules, Saga. So obviously I asked favourite period and rule set, just to clarify that. So Black Powder seems to be very popular as a era. My first experience of that was with Ralph, with Black Powder. Was playing against Ralph and a couple of others. We were playing American Civil War. And that was in 15mm, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I'd quite like to get into American Civil War, actually. So I'd probably use Black Powder for that then. So what, just as a side note here, this isn't the question, but perhaps you can answer me. What do you think would be a suitable size table for Black Powder? Just curious. If you're playing in 28mm, what would be an ideal table size, do you reckon? Just asking. That isn't my question for this episode, but yeah, I'm just kind of curious about that. So Saga is your favourite one? Yes, I gather that is. That seemed a good rule set when we played at that time, and yeah, you don't need that many figures to play Saga, which is cool, and there's a lot of different factions as well, which is good. So your favourite period, Black Powder, favourite rules, Saga, and I can see why. Paul Alba says Napoleonic in 15 to 18mm. If I had the space, time and money, I'd do Napoleonics in 28mm. Yeah, so I wonder how much bigger tables you need for that then, really? Just curious. Idic Beer says, just 40k for me, Pete. With like a smiley face or a happy laughing face. Yeah, it's dear, isn't it? 40k in the I love Games Workshop, absolutely love them, but man, you need some cash for that, don't you? So it's, even if you just choose one army and stick with that, it's, you know, not cheap. And I'm not getting into the whole finance side of it because right, okay. Last question, or last answer. This is Q&S, isn't it? Yeah. Last answer. It's Heresy Productions. His favourite period is Black Powder, and specifically Colonial. I like how Black Powder uses a nice balance between the lethality of range and melee weapons. I prefer 28mm perhaps because I like to paint up the larger minis. Yeah, I mean, that was the last answer. Yeah, you see, that is something I agree with there. It would seem then Black Powder is hugely popular. But just from this, from the answers I have from the people that have commented. So Black Powder, which I have, which I'm very fortunate to have. But yeah, I agree. Scale wise, 28mm, I love the 28mm scale because I suppose because I consider myself new at the hobby, although I'm not a new noob. So I'm doing it a couple of years now, but I mean, there are a lot of people far newer getting into YouTube now, you know, we're talking about the months. And I've learned an awful lot about painting in that short period of time. But compared to the likes of, well, you know, some people, I am a noob. But at the moment, I still like 28mm because I like for instance, and I often do this, pick up a model. This is a Games Workshop like land speeder, but you know, it's quite substantial. It's got a nice lot of big panels on it, but there's still loads and loads of detail. And vehicles like that, I just love painting because I find it easier. If it was smaller, I would think I would find it more difficult. I don't know. See, with things like 15mm, I don't know how far you go with shading and layering and things like that. Do you not bother, or I don't know. I know it's 6mm, you basically just glob the paint, the colours on pretty much to a certain degree. But I don't know. It's difficult. Yeah, I definitely prefer the larger minis myself as well. Anyway, that's all the answers. So, need a new question then. And my question to you people then is, you've got to be, this is a hypothetical scenario for you, but I wonder, because sometimes you start your collection and you think, no, I don't know if I like this, or, you know, I'm not sure. Hypothetically, imagine, right, this is to everybody, you know, and what your hobby is at the moment. Imagine overnight your entire collection vanished, or try to imagine you're getting into it now, right now. You've just discovered this hobby. It doesn't matter how old you are, but you've just discovered this hobby of ours right now. What would be your first purchase? And I don't mean glue and paint. I mean, what would be your first purchase game-wise and model-wise? Okay, right here, right now, even if it differs from day to day, what would your first purchase game and model-wise be? So what game would you get into? What model would you get? Or models set? It could be box sets, that's fine. Alright? So I'd love to hear your answers, and I'll go through them next time. That would be awesome. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye for now.